And to the angel of the church of Sardis write these words. I know your works. You have the reputation of being alive, but you are dead. This was the main trade route, east to west, north to south. If you will not wake up, I will come like a thief, and you will not know at what hour I will come against you. This church looks alive, but it's actually dead. The Persians came in, and they came like a thief in the night. If you don't wake up, the same thing is going to happen to you spiritually.
What happens to a church when God is removed? What happens to a city when money and pagan gods are worshipped? What happens to a society when its people completely reject Christ in their hearts? As we investigate the 7 churches of Revelation, we came to our second church of the day, located in the city of Sardis.
Ancient toilets.
Ancient toilets.
You sit on them, there's a hole, and the water would flow under you.
Ancient toilets.
Visitors are expected to stay on the carpets. This is the courtyard of the synagogue, and over there is the synagogue.
Visitors are expected to stay on the carpets.
Where does it say that? I don't see a sign, at least in English. Oh, that's crazy.
I want to read a couple of reminders of where we've been and then make the connection to Sardis today. So, Smyrna, where we just were, we were encouraged to endure through persecution. We are called to suffer well. Pergamum, we are reminded to stay grounded in the truth in the midst of great evil. Remember Satan's throne. Thyatira, we're reminded to stay holy. We are to reject that spirit of Jezebel. Every single letter is going to have a specific reminder and a word from Christ. So, let's read what Jesus has to say to the church at Sardis. And to the angel of the church of Sardis write these words, the words of him who has the 7 spirits of God and the 7 stars. I'm not going to go into all the detail of that, but that's essentially the Holy Spirit. I know your works. You have the reputation of being alive, but you are dead. I want to draw your attention to the fact that he didn't say anything. There was no commendation. There was nothing good. It just went immediately to, I know you. About 5 years ago, I had the opportunity to be on the show The Walking Dead, and it's a show about zombies. And basically what they do is they dress up these people to look like they're alive, but they're actually dead. And I had this vivid memory when I was on the show that the whole idea is to show people that look like they're alive, but they're actually not. And that's the picture I want you to think about with Sardis. Not zombies, but people that look like they're alive, but they're actually not. I know your works. You have the reputation of being alive, but you are dead. Wake up. Strengthen what remains and is about to die. For I have not found your works complete in the sight of my God. Remember then what you have received and heard. Keep it and repent. If you will not wake up, I will come like a thief, and you will not know at what hour I will come against you. Yet there are still a few names in Sardis, people who have not soiled their garments, and they will walk with me in white, for they are worthy. The one who conquers will be clothed thus in white garments, and I will never blot his name out of the book of life. I will confess his name before my Father and before the angels. Those who have an ear to hear, let him hear. It's kind of interesting when we think about those that have soiled their garments, and the first thing we smell when we come to Sardis is stench. You have the appearance of being alive, but you are dead. I don't know if you remember or if you heard him say this, but this city was known for being very wealthy. They actually think this is where the first coins were minted in history in Sardis. They oftentimes said that if you wanted to make a quick buck, you come to Sardis. This was the main trade route, east to west, north to south. So you would go through this area and you'd make some really good money. Revelation 3:3, remember then what you received and what you have heard, keep it and repent. If you will not, I will come like a thief, and you will not know at what hour I will come against you. So think about this. The church that was reading this letter, knowing the history of this city, they would have understood this reference. Because what tends to happen with people that are making lots of money and they're feeling free and fancy free? You get comfortable. You get complacent. And that's how this city went down, basically. The Persians came in and they came like a thief in the night. And so Jesus was using that imagery to say, look, hey, if you don't wake up, the same thing is going to happen to you spiritually. So this softness, this lack of discipline and dedication was ultimately the doom of Sardis. This was the fall of Sardis. And so Jesus speaks to this church by saying, hey, wake up, strengthen what is about to die. This church looks alive, but it's actually dead. And that's why Jesus says, hey, wake up. One of the things I want you to think about when you think of this church of Sardis is, what is it that makes a church alive? And I'm not talking about a building, I'm talking about the people, right? Two things that makes a church alive. Number one, you have to admit if there's a problem. And number two, you have to be willing to change. A lot of times I think a lot of Christians start living their life and they get complacent. And again, we in America, we're very rich. We have a lot of luxuries. And I think we can fall into similar tendencies that the church of Sardis does because we get comfortable. We think everything is okay, and then the next thing you know, tragedy can strike. So when it says in verse 2 that Sardis was described as dead, but hope remained, there was still a remnant. And you know, that's true from the very beginning. There's always a remnant of people that are willing to continue to fight, or there's a willing of people to stay, to admit when they're going through something and they're willing to get better. When I was getting my rehab on my Achilles, I shared this with our church. I sat there icing my Achilles after I'd gone through a bunch of rehab, and I looked over and there was a lady who had a knee replacement. There was a guy who had broken his leg. There was another person who had an ACL tear. And what we all had in common was we all admitted, hey, we had a problem and we needed help. And I think what happens with the church is sometimes we just get complacent. We kind of live through life. Maybe it's because of the luxuries. Maybe it's the convenience. Maybe there's no persecution. And then all of a sudden something happens. And it really is a good thing because it actually reveals whether or not our faith is real. So whether it's persecution in Smyrna or whether it's the luxuries that we experience, are we reminded of what is actually true? And I oftentimes wish that the church was more like a rehab center than a country club, a place where we were all admitting that we were sick in need of being made well. Revelation 3:4, I love it. It says, you still have a few names in Sardis, people who have not soiled their garments, and they will walk with me in white, for they are worthy. Unlike the garments the people in Sardis would make for wearing, their spiritual garments were soiled. So you can have the appearance of having life based on the things that you're wearing, but at the end of the day, if you're spiritually dead, your soiled garments will reveal themselves in the end. But those who believe, verse 5, the one who conquers will be clothed with white garments. And I love this promise. I will never blot your name out of the book of life. I will confess your name before my Father and before the angels. You will be clothed in white. Jesus will confess your name before the throne of heaven. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife, the bride, the church, has made herself ready, and he has granted her that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of the saints. We believe that those who confess that Jesus is Lord Those who believe that he died and rose again will one day be clothed in white. Every single place that we go to, I want you to enjoy the scenery. I want you to see that, but I don't want you to miss the spiritual piece. Sardis had the appearance of looking alive, but it actually was dead. What do you have, or what are you wearing, or what is true of you, I think is something that we all have to admit. And if we're not willing to admit that we are sinners in need of grace, then we will continue to live, though alive, but yet be walking dead. Let's enjoy the rest of the synagogue and the gymnasium.
So this is the gymnasium now that we're at? So we're at the gymnasium in Sardis. It's a little nicer than gyms that I've been to. So every place we go, I'm just like, how can it get any cooler? This morning we were just in, oh, hey, there goes my microphone. This morning we were in Smyrna. We're in Smyrna, and now we're walking through Sardis, and I'm like, there's no way it could be cooler. And I'm just walking through these ancient ruins. And this church, when Jesus spoke to John to write the letters to Sardis, Jesus didn't have many good things to say. A lot of the other churches he would praise and then criticize, but this church, you come to make money, and a lot of the time people lose the purpose in pursuing money, and you lose God and you lose all these things because you idolize money. And that is exactly what this church right here did. And my group is leaving me again because I'm slow. And look at these ancient toilets. Look how epic that is. You'd sit down right there, and the water, you see, would just come all around and flow, and the bad stuff would go away. It's incredible how intelligent these people were. And then you think how it's like 2,000 years later. Wow, we're zoomed in. It's like 2,000 years later, and we're not much smarter. We're just all this stupid technology that wastes our lives, like TikTok and social media is stupid. However, it's a good way for me to share my adventures. So that's what I'm doing, but it's still dumb. I got in trouble again for having the gimbal. I have to leave it in this bus. And for having my drone, so I have to take that out too. But anyway, right now we're at the Temple of Artemis, which I want to FaceTime Mateo, but he's definitely not awake. It's probably like 5 in the morning.
Could you imagine if that thing fell on you?
I don't think
You're
you
not
would
gonna
know.
imagine it long.
That would be terrifying.
Look how big they are compared to them. Like,
Yeah.
So this is all dug up.
this is all dug up.
One group had to like make the other group extinct. They're such animals.
They built cool
It
things
was the
though.
Babylonians, right? The Persians.
Pretty cool.
Oh wow.
So why didn't the Christians build a Christian church?
They did right there in that little building right there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay guys, so right now I am at the pyramids of Giza. I think this is the Hanging Gardens of
Babylon.
Right now we are in the Temple of Artemis. I wish Matteo was here with us right now because when we were standing at the pyramids, he called it the
Temple of Artemis right here.
So, Matteo, wish you could be here, bro, but we are at the Temple of Artemis. And now I'm gonna try and FaceTime him. Hold up. Matteo, please answer, bro. I'm at the Temple of Artemis, bro. Answer the phone. I need you in this video. I need you in the YouTube video, bro. Oh, okay, Matteo. Wish you were here, Bubba. This is insane, dude. This is ridiculous. They really knew where to build temples. Now, this was a temple to one of the Greek pagan gods. So, they never finished this temple. And once, once Christianity started spreading, the Christians were like, we don't need to finish this temple. We'll, it's a pagan temple. Why finish it? Even though it's beautiful, and I wish it was finished, but the Temple of Artemis, I guess, was never finished. And it's really pretty. It's really, like, epic. Right now, Pastor Ken is yelling at me because I'm making us late to lunch again. Because I constantly the last guy on this trip. But anyway, so here, right here, this is the temple to Artemis. The Christians built this tiny little temple right next to the Temple of Artemis. I guess they didn't need to finish it. God doesn't care about materialistic things and all the things of this world. But still, it would have been cool to see the Temple of Artemis finished. But right now, I'm standing in the Christian church, and yeah, it's pretty incredible to be standing here. I use that word a lot this trip, incredible, and I sound very redundant, but also that's just the word. Like, it's just epic, it's incredible, it's breathtaking. I'm late, but it's crazy, dude. It's sick. It's so sick. Also, another thing I forgot to mention, this is one of the This is one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. And it's one of my list items to go to all 21, including the ancient wonders of the world, 7 wonders of the world, and then I think there's like a new 7 or whatever. But I think there's 21 total, and I just scratched off another one, the Temple of Artemis. And I almost left this place without saying it. But apparently as a kid, I'd been to Chichen Itza in Mexico, chicken pizza. And my mom just told me that. I was like 3 years old. I had no idea I'd been there. So I want her to find that picture. But I've been to a few. I don't know right now off the top of my head, but everybody's leaving and I'm late. And I really, really love turkey. And we're late for lunch because I'm slow and I make everybody late all the time because I'm a stupid vlogger and I make stupid videos on YouTube. Actually, I like my videos. They're not stupid. And I think the direction I'm taking them right now with all the biblical travels, it's epic. And it just shows that the Bible is real and true and we have a faith that's based on fact. And it's not just all this goofy spiritual floating around like everything is God. Like, truth has a name and his name is Jesus. And this channel will continue to explore real places. Israel coming up real soon. And I'd love to go to some more North Africa, like Morocco, Algeria, see where a bunch of the Roman Empire had conquered. But yeah, Ken is waiting for me. I'm sorry, I'm always that guy.
The people of Sardis had wealth. There was gold in the rivers. This was a place to come and make money. But the real lesson was that God really wasn't here because people were choosing money and material things over what really mattered, which is our relationship with God. And so my takeaway today was when we go back home, make sure God's first, relationships, helping people, and not just about making money. Because oftentimes in America, that's what we think about, but this puts things in perspective for me. God bless everybody.
Oh my goodness. It's an ancient Joel. Excuse me. Hello. Where are we right now? Are we at Sardis? Where are we right now?
No, Daniel, put down.
Oh, we're still recording.
We're back at you live in the back of the bus.
There's a dog on the roof. I would love to be that dog. I would love to be that dog.